Hello, everybody.
Hi, Wendy.
Hi, Susan.
This is Josie.
Oh, Josie. Susan was waving, but Josie was talking. Hi, guys. Let me just shut my door. Josie, I never get to see your beautiful face. So
oh, it's not beautiful, but I got home. I just signed up about 20 minutes ago because I just came back from the dentist. I didn't know whether I could make it back. So I was glad I could because I'm having a heck of a time with my new, well, it's about 6 months old, 5 months old or so. And I'm having a heck of a time with it.
Well, we don't want that going on. We want
I know.
happy.
Yeah.
Okay, well, more and more people are joining us. We'll just wait for a second and see who else is going to be with us today. How's everybody's day going so far?
Good.
Good. Everybody's starting to have nice weather wherever you are at. Yes. No.
Is anyone else from California?
Anybody else from California?
New Mexico.
Oh.
Is anybody from, Josie, what part of California are you from?
I'm northern, not far from San Francisco, in a place called Walnut Creek. It's beautiful.
Oh, it is beautiful.
Yeah.
Now I need to have Get Set Up is looking for one of a learner in that area to do an interview with someone. I don't know if you would be willing to talk to somebody about that, but it's about, I think it's just an interview about how you like Get Set Up or what you do with it.
Oh, really? Well, I got the website from a church retreat that I went to. So I don't even know the name of the person who, announced it to the group.
Because, oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
If it's okay for me to share your name with someone at Get Set Up who asked this question, would that be okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, Josie. What's your last name, Josie?
It's Wright with a W.
Okay. Okay, guys. Well, I don't know how many people we have in this class, so we'll give it a couple more minutes. For those of you that have not taken this class, I'm Wendy, and I will be your Get Set Up guide. I am from Colorado, and it is just spectacular here right now. We had like a deep freeze last week, which was crazy, but we are back now. Beautiful, like 76 degrees. I don't know, it's gorgeous. And yeah, so I have been a Get Set Up guide for a little while now, and my background was in pediatrics, actually, as I was a PA in pediatrics, and then I worked and I loved that, and then I've always had a love for technology. So when I turned 50, I went to work at Apple, and I stole all their secrets, and then launched my own company as a so my last name is Miller, right? So my company's name was Miller Mind for Mac, because I was a Mac person. So and then the pandemic hit, and I couldn't really meet with my people personally, and that was hard. So I found Get Set Up, it was just crazy, and this has been perfect because now I can teach all of you, and it's and I don't have to leave my house, and you don't have to leave your house, and we can learn together and share and just be a lovely community. So I'm sure, I don't know if any of you have taken Get Set Up classes before, but if you haven't, so we're a group of seniors, individuals that have some knowledge that you may be interested in, which is why you're taking this class. And we partner with all kinds of organizations. You said you found us through your church, Josie.
Yes.
We partner with YMCAs and with health and human service departments all over the country and all over the world. Actually, we're in India and Australia and launching more places. Super cool organization that wants to teach you whatever you want to learn. Gardening or music or your iPad or whatever. So I'm really happy you're here. I want to help you. It looks like we have a happy birthday out to Kay. When was your birthday?
It's not my birthday. It's a Zoom birthday for my daughter.
Oh, even better. You know, I've seen some crazy Zoom birthday stuff, but that's fun. So welcome. I am recording this class. And so if you have questions and you want to just anything I've taught today, you can write to Get Set Up. It's help@getsetup.io. And you can ask them for the recording of this class. I teach a beginner, an intermediate, and an advanced iPad class, and the same with Mac classes. And the way I like to teach, just for those of you that haven't taken my classes, it's only effective if you learn what I've taught. So I don't mind answering the same question, however many participants are on, that many times. And lots of times we have questions on the same topic, but asked a little bit different way, or you may know something that I don't in a way to do something on your iPad. So I want you to understand that this is we're a team. And if you have done something in a different way that I may not be telling you or knowing about, please share. And so I like to start out by asking you to please put questions in the chat room. I know that we can go over lots and lots of basics, and we will review some basics, but I also know that if you're at the level where you're comfortable using your iPad, you may want to do specific things on your iPad. You may be looking for those answers. And since it's just, the spectrum of what you want to know is just huge, please share with me some things you would maybe like to learn. I will share with you what I think is important to learn, and some things are more valuable to you than others. But everybody's level is a little bit different, except that you do know your iPad. So let's just engage and have fun. And if I'm going too fast, let me know. Again, if you need something repeated, let me know. And I stop along the way, just confirm that what I've said, you've understood. Okay. So was anybody in my class last week? Nobody? Okay, so that's good, only because I'm going to review a lot of the same things, but I just like to make sure that my classes, I tend to teach similar, I try to teach.
Each don't talk.
What? Oh, so I try to teach similar things every week. I know there's basics that are super important, but again, questions are really important. So put those questions in the chat room, and after I start teaching you some things, we will move on from there. Okay, is anybody not working on their iPad and watching this on a MacBook or something and just has their iPad to the side?
I do. Josie, I do.
I do too.
Is that Hank and Kate?
Yes, I would think.
That is really helpful for me to know, because if there's ever an opportunity for you to take my classes not on the device I'm teaching, and you can have my class up but have your other device near you, then you can practice things. And if not, no worries. I understand that not all of us have a couple of different devices. So it's just something I've been thinking about with when I teach my classes. I know how difficult it is to go from Zoom to your device and back and forth. So with that, I'm going to share my iPad and we're going to get started, unless anybody has a big announcement or something they want to say.
I have a question, Wendy.
Yes.
I want to be able to have my a blank screen on my iPad, and I don't, this new one doesn't have a home button, so I want to know how I can get rid of the game I have on there, and so I can follow along with what you're going to tell us.
Okay. Well, on your screen, so it doesn't have a home button, and I know that, but just like if you have a phone that doesn't have a home button, you should be able to tap the bottom of the screen that's right above where the port is, and that should act like a home button.
The left side or bottom?
Just the middle, just the middle. I had another learner last week ask this, and I wish that iPad would not have done this, only because I find it a little bit aggravating, but I will show you a couple secrets.
Okay, I can't get it to, I'm tapping in the middle at the bottom and nothing's happening.
Okay, so you can, let's see. Let me just think about this. Let me think about, I know I can put a home button on there for you, but before we get going, guys, I would like to see if I can just, so can you try to tap, or let's see, swipe up from the bottom of the screen and see if.
Okay, I swiped and I'm back to my home page.
Good, okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. On that note, one thing that I have found very helpful is to have a mouse for my iPad. It's a new feature that Apple has launched with some of their newer software. You don't necessarily have to have a new iPad. You just have to make sure you have newer software. It should work on most iPads, and I will show you today where to find that. But I find a lot of times, so we touch it right with our fingers, or I have this is so funny, this screen. I have a stylus, and I like my stylus, but I have also gone to using a mouse, and I love my mouse on my iPad.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
you're welcome. I'm glad we figured that out. I'm going to share my iPad with you right now. Okay. So here we go. Okay, great. So you should be able to see my iPad, right?
Yes.
Okay, so something that I found valuable to tell you guys about is, does anyone or everyone know where the control center is? An easy way to get to the control center.
No.
No. Okay. So Apple, as you know, or if you don't, you know now, Apple has many different ways to access information and document or apps that we frequently use. So the way to go to the control center, which now has a plethora of options for things that are quick that you want to use, is you're going to take your finger. You don't have a mouse because your finger, is your cursor, it's your mouse, and you're going to slide down from the top. So, okay, you're not going to have this on your screen, guys. You're not going to have Let's View. That's my program to share with you. But you're going to go to the top of your computer, the black part, not on the screen, right outside the screen, to the right. And you are going to drag your finger down, and you're going to see something come up that looks like this. Do you see that? I want everyone to get to that space.
Yeah, I got that.
Yes.
Everybody's got it? Okay.
Wendy, did you say bring your finger straight down?
Straight down. And as you guys know, on your iPad, you must not let go with your finger until you are where you want to be. I will do that action again, but everybody keep theirs up. So my finger is going on the outside. Let me just move this. Let me just move my bar. So my finger is going way up here, like it's starting up here, like way up here. And I'm going to be dragging it down on the right side. And then I'm going to stop, like move my finger back as soon as it comes up. So the reason I'm sharing this with you is because just like on our Mac computers, if you use that, we have system preferences on our iPads, which control the way you personalize your iPad. But what's nice about the control center is it's a quick access to many applications that you frequently use. Okay, so we'll go over this. Some of the applications that you probably frequently use are, oopsie, sorry about that. You frequently use the brightness. So if I bring the brightness level down, it's going to make my computer darker, my iPad darker, or I can move it up. Now, this is a volume button. It says Apple TV because mine is connected to my Apple TV. But that's really your volume button. It's a nice way to control the volume. Something that I really like is if you are playing, if you have set up like on Spotify or on iTunes or something, music, and you just want to get to it quickly, that's how you will get to it. You'll see this, playing, and you'll click on that. Okay. Also, if you want to screen lock your iPad so that if you're doing something, it doesn't keep turning no matter how you turn your iPad, you click that and that locks it in either the horizontal or vertical, depending upon what you're on. Another really fun app is your clock, because it's not just a clock. When I touch that, it's lots of things. It's a world clock. It's an alarm. It's a stopwatch and a timer. I use this particular app all the time, whether I'm cooking or doing whatever. So if I want to use the timer, I'm going to make sure that the timer is highlighted. You see where it says hours, minutes, seconds. So I'll set it just with my finger again to slide up. I will set it to do, like 8 minutes, and then I'll push start and it will start counting down. Now I am going to push done, and I actually don't want that anymore, right? So that's the timer. The stopwatch is great because if you're needing to do something in multiple sequences for a minute or 30 seconds or whatever, you can start it, and then you can it just will keep going every 30 seconds. It will ding, and then you can, push to replay. I just really like it. It's kind of fun, but it's useful. So that you go back to my control center. So that's how I got there, was my control center. Now, say you want to type a note really fast and you don't want to go into notes, you don't want to go anything. You can go to here and you can tap that and it will bring up your notes. It will bring up your notepad. Okay. So you don't have to go find your notes application on your iPad. And I like that. That's kind of fun. And then every time I'm done with that, guys, I'm pushing my home button. And for you that has no home button, you're going to slide up until you get back to your home screen. So I'm going to pull this back down and just kind of go through. So your camera is a great one. If you are taking a picture with your iPad, you can touch your camera. And okay, so my iPad is looking out at my office, but it's not looking at me. But some people like to use the back of their iPad, which has a camera. It's obviously going to be, look how big that picture is, right? So that's kind of a fun thing. And what else is on the control center that's fun? Let's see. I have a remote for my Apple TV, but these are just quick changes that you don't have to fuss with the buttons on your actual iPad. But as you guys know, there are ways to access all of these things through either system preferences or through the controls on your iPad.
What does the bell mean?
What, babe?
What does the bell mean?
Oh, the bell. Okay, the bell's fun. The bell, let me touch the bell, I'll show you. So the bell is if you don't want any alarm, like if you set an alarm but you don't want to hear it, or you accidentally, you just don't want to get a warning for anything, or you don't want to get a notification with a ding. I mean, that's what it does.
Okay, thank you.
All notification notices that are set up with a sound. Okay.
Thanks.
Okay. Now something else that's fun. So I'm gonna hit my home button. So another thing that's fun to look at on the iPad is if you go to the middle now of the iPad, up here, right there. Sorry, let me just get that. Where is my, oh, sorry, I just minimized that, sorry guys. So I'm gonna go to the middle of my iPad and pull that down. And that should give you your notification center, like different things that are on your notifications. Like I had my classes. So it basically gives you the main things that are on your notifications if they're set up for this. And if they're not, we'll get into showing you how to do that. But it's a quick way to see kind of what's going on in your calendar, if there's any hot news, just things like that. It's just sort of a fun way to do that. Okay. So I want to teach you guys how to type quickly on your iPad in a way that's more efficient, more effective. Okay, so I'm gonna tap the notes application, all right? Now, if I start to type, which I would do that by, let's see, actually, so, okay, new note. So I'm gonna go to new note. Let me bring it out so it's not, okay. So there's my keypad. Whenever there is an application and an opportunity to type something, your keypad will show up. If you want to have your keypad be smaller while you're typing something so that you can see more, you're going to take 2 fingers like this and just like this on the outsides of the keypad. You see how small that made it? Now, what's great about that are a couple of things. One, I now have more real estate over here, right? So that's kind of fun. The other thing is this turns the keypad into what Apple calls their quick path, their quick keyboard. And what I'm going to tell you about that is, hey, listen before you do it. You can drag your finger from letter to letter, and it will predict the word that you're going to use, okay? So I'm going to say that I want to type welcome. So I'm going to take my finger, and I'm just going to slide it from the W to the E all the way over to the L, and it's going to just start to come up. Okay, so it came up, right? Welcome. You see where it typed well, now you see welcome up here? So that's what I wanted, but I didn't have to like type it with my little fingers. So this is called predictive text in this particular kind of application. Now, it doesn't seem like it's that interesting or cool, but our iPads are big enough that we can see more on them, but small enough that sometimes when we type things, we can't type too much. So that's why I like having this smaller keyboard. And you can even click on the little microphone down here and tap. So hello, this is Wendy Miller, and I would like to say welcome to this class, period. Now, the difference between, whoopsie, let's just stop that. To stop that, you just hit the little keyboard. The difference between typing versus voicing is that when you voice, you must use punctuation. And when you type it, it will put the punctuation in for you. Okay? So is everybody clear? Now, the way that you get your big keyboard back is you're going to go to the middle of the keyboard and just move it out. So we're going to go to the middle and move it out. And then you have your big keyboard. We're going to go back to this because we're going to use it in another format in a minute. All right.
Excuse me, Wendy.
Yeah.
This is Susan. I lost the picture of your keyboard. I've got you now on the big screen and you're also on the side small, but I don't have your keyboard.
Okay.
Or your iPad.
Or my iPad. Okay. Let's see. I think you might have, can you hit your home button?
Can I do what?
Hit your home button.
Okay, well, I'm looking at you on my computer.
Okay. Oh, you're on your computer. Oh, so
and I'm doing the thing
you're
on the
looking at your
phone.
computer, but you're using your iPad to do this stuff?
Right.
Okay. On your iPad, I want you to hit your home button.
Okay.
And now what are you seeing on your computer? Are you seeing my screen?
I'm still seeing all of you, and on my iPad, I've got all my icons on there.
Yeah, okay. So somewhere in your computer, on your computer, you should have a little box that says gallery or view at the very top of your Zoom. You see a little box that says gallery, or it should have, it won't say it, but it should have like 2 lines or 4 squares or something.
Oh, I see what you mean, yes.
Click on that and see if that brings back, I think you've got just like, you've got it like in the big square.
It says standard side-by-side speaker.
Oh, go to side by side. Go to side by side.
Side by side.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay, gotcha. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Okay, Josie had a question.
Yes, you know, I have notes. So when I went on notes, it said I had to turn on my iCloud. How do I do that?
Oh, okay, we will get there. I
Oh.
will get there in just a moment. So what I'm
Okay.
going to do, no, thank you for asking. What I'm going to do, I just want to make sure that you guys know what we did, because I want to show you the value of having that small keyboard on an application. All right. For those of you that don't know how to, let me just close this. Hold on a second. Okay. How many of you know how to do split screen on your iPad? Anybody? Okay. This is where a smaller keyboard really comes in handy. Split screen is when you can actually take your iPad and divide it into two sort of separate iPads right next to each other. The value of that comes, I find, when, for example, I am searching for something on the internet and I'm wanting to keep notes on that. All right. Now, in order to have a split screen happen, both applications that you're using need to be on the dock. Everyone knows that this is the dock, right?
Yes.
So in order, so let me just repeat that, it's very important. In order to have two applications open at the same time, both applications must be living on the dock, and then we can move on from there. Okay, so say I want to open Chrome, which is a browser, and I want to look for bicycles. And then I want to keep some notes about these bicycles, but I want to write it down on a piece of paper or whatever I'm doing. So I'm going to use the opportunity to split my iPad into two screens. So I'm going to open my Chrome, it opens Chrome. And I was doing bicycles before, so it's okay. I like to look at bikes because I'm a biker. So here I am on Chrome, right? Opened it. Now I want to have my notepad there. So in order to bring back up my dock, I'm going to slide my finger from the bottom up on my iPad, and it's going to bring my dock back up. Okay. Now, once your dock is back up, the next application that you want to be open to share, and this is tricky, and I wish that Apple had a better solution. So this is a listen to Wendy and practice, practice, practice. You're going to hold onto the application you want to add, not too long, not too short, just right. And it's going to come up and it's going to have a little gray box. So watch my notes. I'm touching it, and sometimes it doesn't work. And sometimes it doesn't work. Please don't like that. So sometimes it doesn't work, even for one. Oops, let's open that. Let's get our dock back. Okay. So that didn't work so well. So because it just, I'm telling you, it is Apple's. Okay, so we're gonna go up. Now I have my notes. I'm gonna try it again. Hold it long enough. There we go. Long enough to get it to where, you see how I'm sliding it around? So I'm gonna drop it. This action of holding it long enough that you can move it up there, but not too long that it either opens the application completely or gives you options of deleting, etc. It's a practice, practice, practice. Now, I see that I have this, and you see this little box up here? That's called a handle. If I want to make this, like I want to move my notes over here, so I just move the handle around. But the beauty of this is now that I can tap on my Google and I can search for bikes, and I can go to this bike picture, for example, and say I wanted to, hold on a second, I need to move my notes around a little bit, make it a little bit easier. Say I wanted to keep a little bit of information on this bike. Let me find some information. Let's find some text of this bike. It might not be there. Hold on, I might have to go back. find out reviews. Okay, so there's reviews. So success stories. Okay, so I'm just keep getting hot pictures. Let me see if I can get, okay, so say I wanted to just capture this particular text. I hold my finger down and then I drag it so that I can copy it. So I drag my finger, held my finger down until the blue dots with the lines were completely over the part that I want to copy. And I go copy, and then I'm in notes. So I can go to, I want to create a new note, tap, tap, paste, and there we have exactly what I want to. This is something that you need to practice. So I'm going to repeat the steps, and you don't necessarily have to do it now, but I'm going to repeat the steps. For those of you that don't know, in order to get your keypad down to the bottom, you're going to go like that. If you want to bring your keypad back up, just tap where you want to start typing. So this is where it'd be really useful for my keypad to be smaller so that I could see everything, right? So with 2 fingers, I'm going to make my keypad smaller. And now I can see not only my keypad, I can also see, I can move my keypad around. I can also see more of what is on my other page. So this requires practice. And this again is how you do it. I'm going to go back. You make sure that both applications you're using are living on the dock. So for example, I'm going to do this again because it's really, really useful and people don't use it enough. So what I'm going to do, yeah, what's up?
I have nothing on my dock.
You have nothing in your dock. Well, let's move something to your dock. I'm going
I
to
don't
do it
have
right now. I am going to hold maps with my finger, and then it starts wiggling, or you might see something that says edit home screen. And I'm
Okay.
going to take my finger and drag maps down into my dock. Did you?
Oh, that was easy.
So
Thank
there
you.
we go. Perfect. I'm glad that was easy. So that's how you put things in the dock. And that's exactly how you put things out of the dock. So I'm going to open Maps. Maps is a great application to use split screen on, because frequently you want to have the map, but you want to have like maybe some notes. So if I bring up my dock again and I have notes and I hold on to it just long enough, there we go. There we go. It brought up notes and it brought up my little keypad that I have here that I like so much. And now I can type in while I have most of my map, okay? And you can move your second screen around. It can be on either side, okay? You can also make, this particular app doesn't do this, but you can make the Notes app or any app, as a matter of fact, be smaller or not quite as wide. But the point of this is really to show you moving into more advanced skills on your iPad so that you can use it not just for playing, but you can begin to think of it as a whole office, you know? We are going to learn games, we're going to play and we do that, but I feel like for those of you that are taking this intermediate iPad class, you want to learn more than just games. So we will review different methods of keeping and organizing and finding files and documents and things, because Apple has now decided to play nice with Microsoft. And so they have allowed the sharing of a lot of different software between them. And you can now, you know, have files and organize them on your iPad and keep them all in directories and stuff like that. Clearly that's more advanced, but I want to get you comfortable using more tools on your iPad.
Can I ask a quick question?
Of course.
I have an external keyboard. How do I get the keyboard on the iPad to come
I'm
up?
going to teach you right now, because I'm going to teach you guys how to put a mouse on and a keyboard and everything. Okay? Okay, home button. The brainchild of your iPad. Settings. Right? Okay, let me just go back. So under settings, you have all these things. Now, for those of you that have not taken my basics class, we are going to go back to basics in just a minute. This is the brain of your iPad. So if you go to Bluetooth and you make sure it's on, you should see your keypad show up in this column. Your keypad has to be turned on. It has to be close to your iPad. So you have to make sure that you have, with your keypad, it has a little button on the side. Oh, where's my screen? A little button on the side, and you push it and it turns green. You have to make sure that that is connected. Is it, let me just ask you this, Kay, I didn't ask this. Is it a keypad like in a case, like your iPad is like this, like that?
Mine is.
Oh, is it Josie who asked the question?
No, I'm just saying I have a new iPad and that's the way my keyboard is. It comes with the pad. I mean, it's part of the pad.
Does it control the key? Does it control the iPad?
Yes, that's how I tried. That's what I was doing to send emails,
So, Kay, did you understand what I was saying?
Well, I was looking for Bluetooth and I don't have Bluetooth on my list of things. Under settings, I don't have Bluetooth.
Okay, then what I want you to do is I want you to keep scroll. I want you to.
Oh, I see. I have it. Sorry. It's on.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
everybody has Bluetooth.
So,
Okay, you asked if I understood what you said.
yes.
And the answer is no.
Okay, let's help you figure out what you're trying to do. First of all, explain to me, or tell me, do you have a completely external keypad, like a big one like this?
No, I have one that the iPad fits into the case. And on the case, there is a little keypad.
Okay, is the keypad on?
Yes. So the
Okay.
keypad works fine. And I kind of want to keep the keypad. But I thought while we were doing this, maybe I should have the keypad on the computer up, on the iPad up.
So is your keypad, when you type things on your keypad, is it showing up on your iPad?
Yes.
Oh, so what's your question?
Well, I was just wondering how I get the keys on the iPad to show up. They don't show up. The keys, everything I type on my external keyboard shows up.
I understand. I know. You cannot make an external keyboard smaller. You have to turn it off so that you are using the internal iPad keyboard.
Got it. Okay, I'm good. Thank you.
And you know what? The honest truth is, I don't exactly know how that works because I had a learner last week and we were trying to disable the connection so that you could do that smaller one and that darn thing would not disable. So when you figure it out, you're going to let us know. So this is exactly how you guys add a mouse. You go to Bluetooth and your mouse cannot be connected to another Bluetooth device in the area. If you're using one, so I have two mouses. I have a mouse for my computer and I have a mouse for my iPad. You must have separate mice for each device. Okay, or you're gonna have to turn off your mouse from another device in order to Bluetooth connect it to your iPad. This is a very big problem that people have. It's like it won't show it won't connect, it won't, and the reason is if it is connected to something else, Bluetooth, it will not connect to your iPad. Okay, that's super, super important. Now, if you're having problems connecting, sometimes you have to turn this little Bluetooth thing. I'm not going to do it because I'll lose connection, but sometimes you have to turn this off and turn it back on. And sometimes you have to restart your iPad. And sometimes you have to go have a drink and come back. Because sometimes it needs to think. So For those of you that have not taken my basics class, I do want to show you some very important tools that live in this settings bar.
Yeah, I didn't know.
See where this says Apple, iCloud, media, all that? Did that answer your question, guys, about loading a mouse or connecting a mouse and everything? Okay. Where I'm pointing right now, this app, my name and all of this is very important information. When I tap this, it gives me my name, of course, and underneath it, my Apple ID. You must know your Apple ID and your password to play with Apple. If you don't, you're gonna be really frustrated. In a minute, we're gonna go to the App Store because I want to teach you a few things there. But before we go there, I want to tell you something. Apple requires that you have your Apple ID password entered and that you have a current credit card on file with them, even if you are downloading a free app. To Apple, free and purchased mean the same thing as far as downloading. They don't care if it's free or purchased. They will not do it unless you have a form of payment that is actually okay. So I'm going to get rid of my red line. I'm going to go to password and security. All right. So I just went to password and security. I'm going to get rid of my, hold on a second. Let me just get rid of my, okay. So now it's going to ask me for my password. And I know my password and I have to know my password. If you don't know it, you are going to call Apple when you are done with this class and you are going to have them help you find it. You're going to have them help you retrieve your password. The reason you need your password is because, like I said, you can't do anything without it. Now, see this little line? Anytime there are multiple menus under something, you will see an arrow. So let's go backwards. When you stop seeing arrows go backwards, you're at the end of your menu. So I'm going to go backwards. I'm still under Apple ID, so I'm still in this window, but now I'm going to go to payments and shipping. And what I'm going to make sure is that I'm going to touch on my Visa. It's not going to show you or anybody your card. This is where the complication frequently lies in trying to download an app. You have to put in your CVV almost every time. Not if they're free apps sometimes, and not if they're like, once you put it in, Apple's pretty good about keeping it. But if you haven't for a while and you can't download the app, the download just won't work. Go back to this screen, go to settings, Apple ID, payment and shipping, and enter your security code. And 9 times out of 10, that will solve your problem of downloading an app. Okay, now somebody had a question, it was earlier about iCloud, right? So in this same area, which is Wendy Miller, Apple ID, iCloud, on this screen, I have something called iCloud. Well, I'm going to go to iCloud, and for the applications that I want stored in the cloud, I make sure, and their information, I make sure they're on. Who was asking that question? Somebody was asking that question. Did anybody, who asked me that question? I don't know. Okay, that's okay. But anyway, that's how you do it. You make sure that your iCloud is turned on for whatever application. Oh, I think it was Notes, right? Now, the reason it's funny that they asked you that, because I've never been asked that. And you don't have to keep things in the cloud, but maybe if you turn that on, it will help. I don't know. It's weird. Sometimes they ask you things and you're like, why do you need to do that? Okay, I'm going to get out of that.
Wendy, this is Susan. You know, on the top of that screen that you had us on there for a second ago, the very top, you know, all left of the X, the left arrow and the right arrow, whatever.
Up here?
I don't
Up here?
have those things. No, on the top, right.
Oh, right up here, the very top. That's my software that I'm using to
No,
share
not that. More over to the right,
to the right. Oh, this
at the
area,
very top.
the very top,
See where the X is up there?
that one.
Yes, and then all those things that you've got there, 2, 4, 5 things. What
You
are?
don't have them. You don't have them because that's my software.
Oh, okay.
That's my software that I'm sharing my screen with you.
I see. Thank you.
You guys don't have that.
Okay.
I have that. Okay, so I want to go to the Apple Store for a minute, and I want you all to make sure you know how to get there. But before I do, I'd like to go to the chat room and answer a couple questions if we have. Okay. All right. Hello, I just got mine as a gift for Christmas. Gladys, I don't know your level of comfort on your iPad, but you may want to, if you haven't ever used it or too much, you may want to take my basic class just to get a little more familiar. It might make you feel more comfortable.
I thought this was your basic class.
Me
That's why.
too.
So it said basic. I thought it was the beginner's one.
I don't think so. Is that an intermediate class? Am I teaching you guys the wrong class today? Like very possible. But
It does say basic.
It says basic. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
basic.
To be basic.
Oh
Yeah.
my.
But
Okay.
you would.
So I figured I was the only slow one, so I thought I have to take
Yes.
the other one.
Right. I was wondering why you were.
And I didn't know you could have a mouse with iPad, so hey.
Yes, I have a mouse and a keyboard.
So
separate.
my apologies to all of you. I'm pretending I literally like just led you to
Right.
farm. I told you to go find things and I didn't give you any directions.
Exactly.
Well, let me tell you something. You all learned half of what I teach in my basic class anyway. All right, never mind. We're going to go back to something. We
Okay.
are going to go back, and I am so sorry because I've taught you how many, I've taught you a lot, but guess what? We're going to go back. Okay, back up.
Okay.
I taught you more than you just took my basic class. You don't even need to take that again. Basically, let's start over everything. This is your dock. I've done a lot of things on your dock, and you didn't even know how to get to your darn dock. There's your dock. These are your applications that live on the home page of your iPad. Your iPad has multiple pages, and the way you get to them is you take 3 fingers or 2 or 1, and you pretend like you're using a chalkboard eraser. I can't believe I just taught you guys that. Okay, well, now you're like gonna be really good. Pretend like you're
Swiping.
on a chalkboard, and you're gonna scroll across, and you're gonna get pages and more pages and more pages until you run out of more pages. And I don't even know how many pages you can have. You can have a lot. And so you will have preloaded native applications that came with your iPad, and you'll have applications that you put on there. In order to move applications around, God, I'm so sorry. You're going to hold down with your cursor, which is your finger. You're going to hold down an application until you see the words edit home screen. So I'm going to hold down camera, and you see it says edit home screen.
Mhm.
Now, some applications will not have as many menu items, but just because they don't. So I'm just going to close that for a second. I'm going to go to voice memos. I'm going to hold that down. So that has different ones, you know, but basically, you're going to make sure that you see edit home screen, and then you're going to touch it. Okay. And then, hold on one second, sorry. And then you're going to see them wiggle. When they wiggle, that means you can move them. Wiggle means action in iPad world, in app world. So I'm going to now do 2 things. One, I'm going to move my measuring tape out of my dock. I'm going to hold it, and it moved. Your finger's your cursor, your finger's your mouse. Your finger is the way you control things on your iPad unless you have a mouse. So you have to make sure that you don't drop it too soon or too, not soon enough. So it's still wiggling. I'm only going to keep it wiggling because I want to show you how you move it to the next page. Just as you put your finger on your screen and you scroll across, you are now going to grab one of your icons. So now they stopped wiggling. They said, okay, you haven't talked to me in a while, I'm going to stop. So I'm going to hold on to my camera again. I'm going to go to edit home screen. And then I'm going to grab my camera and I'm going to drag it all the way across to the next page by holding on to it until it's off to the right side of your iPad. And it should go to the next page. Does anybody have a problem doing that? It worked for everybody? Oh, you guys are the smartest class I've ever taught. Oh my God. I cannot believe you just did so many things. So that's really important. That's how you need to know how to do that. So that is how you move things onto the dock. That is how you move things to different locations on your iPad. And so I'm laughing because of some of the things I'm going to teach you, I already taught you. But I want to go to your app store because that's kind of fun and it's important that you learn a few things. Okay, so I'm going to go to my app store, which is a blue box with a popsicle A. Okay. On here, this is the front page of Apple. This is what Apple decided from today that you should know. You should know some things. But I don't want to be there. I want to be on that. I want to be where I can look at some apps. So I'm going to go to apps, which is right down here. And that brings up apps. And the application store looks like this. New to iPad, if I scroll, so I take my chalkboard eraser and I scroll my finger and I scroll up, I have top free apps, made for kids, everyone's favorites, popular, the way they group them. So you can search for an app by going to the search bar and typing what you want. Say I wanted to look for a recipe app. I'm going to go RECIPE, and I'm going to go to Recipe Keeper. Okay, it's going to show me apps on here that I can get. And I am going to show you different things and different ways and different things you need to be aware of on the App Store. Okay. Get means you want to get that app. Okay. What it also means, if you'll see very, very small print underneath, it says in-app purchases. That means you can open the app, you can bring it home from the library. Basically, it's a book, it's at the library. You can bring it home. You might be able to look through it, but probably aren't going to be able to do very much because it has a purchase tied to it. So if I touch this, watch what it's going to do. Little circle is going to go around. It's going to ask me if I want to install it. That means check it out from the library. Install. Done. And now it's going to circle around until this blue circle gets filled in. While it's doing that, I'm going to teach you something. Oh, it did it fast. Okay, so now I'm going to open it. And it's going to say recipe box, or it's going to say whatever the app is. If I sign up, I can promise you that they're going to ask me to buy a subscription of some sort. So there are a lot of apps, and I'm going to go back to the App Store and show you. I'm going to go back to my App Store. I'm going to just going to go to apps again. I'm going to go to free apps. Okay. Now, free apps, if I go to see all, let's see. So there's a whole bunch of free apps. But again, a lot of them say get, and then they have an in-app purchase. Now, Google Slides, for example, do you see it doesn't have an in-app purchase under it? So that is a free application. Now let me explain these other pieces of things, these other words, etc. So get is where you bring it home, check it out, see if you like it. If you want to do a lot more on it, you probably have to pay for a subscription.
Okay.
Open is, I've brought it down from the cloud and I want to open it. When you see a cloud, that comes up because I have decided that I don't want that application living on my iPad, but I do want it. And I want it to live in the cloud under my Apple ID, which is why my Apple ID is so important. So I am going to go back to here and I'm going to go to an application that I have. I'm going to show you something. I'm going to go to Google Maps and hold it. I'm going to go to delete app. Now, if I delete this app, delete it, not to, like, it'll put it back in the bookshelf under my name. So if I go to delete, it's off my iPad, not taking up any space, but it is now in the cloud. Now, if I go back to the App Store, guys, and I look for Google Maps, I'm going to search for Google Maps, you're going to see a cloud next to it. Google Maps. Oopsie, just spell it right. Google Maps for iPad. See that? See the cloud? So it said to me, I know this person. I know their Apple ID, and I know their password is secure and safe. So it's one of these two. It could be both. It could be either. So that is why it is crucial to know that you can keep a lot of apps on your iPad, but the ones that begin to take up space are like Kindle and music. It's fine. You're not going to probably ever use too much. But the reason that people put things back in the cloud is because they have a lot, and I just keep pushing my home button, guys, to get back, is because they have a lot of information. I would say books and music and photos take up the most space. And so just be mindful that unless you delete that application completely, which is way more advanced than I will teach today, it will live in the cloud for you, even if you've bought it. And so what's important to know is that if you're working on a program, playing a game, and you get to a certain level, if you delete the app, but you put it in the cloud, it's okay. It's going to keep you at that level. You just can't take it off of your computer, off of your cloud, because if you take it off your cloud, then it doesn't know who you are and sign in again. It's you. You know, it's not you. So be aware that anything you say remove, it's fine. Take it off your computer. It's literally like taking it off of your bookshelf in your house and putting it back to the bookstore or the library till you're ready to bring it home again. Applications must be looked at just like books. That's all they are, is pockets of information.
However, Wendy, if I take something off of my computer, if I delete something, it's also gone from the cloud. Is that a true statement?
On your iPad or on your computer?
I'm sorry, I was thinking on the iPad.
It is, if you delete it, it is in the cloud. It is not gone from the cloud until you delete it from the cloud, and that's an exercise I won't show you how to do today. It puts it back in the cloud, even if you say delete. But it won't remove it from the cloud until you go into another setting operation and say delete from the iCloud. So the answer is no, it is not deleted. You'll see that little cloud symbol. If you want it back, you'll see the cloud symbol.
Okay, so what if I did it on my computer?
Different story. Computer, different story.
Okay.
The computer acts completely differently on the cloud, especially with downloaded apps. If you delete an app on your computer, it's gone. It's not, you don't have that access the way you did on an iPad. So now I literally have almost taught you everything I teach in the basic class, except I did it from Z to A instead of A to Z. But the bottom line is, guys, you have to play with this device. You have to use your finger and play with it, or get a mouse or get a stylus But I gotta tell you, I love my mouse because it just is more comfortable for me. And also, my mouse has what's called a right click. For any of you that use a computer, you have a right click on your mouse, which brings up menus. It's really difficult to bring up menus on your iPad without a right click mouse. Of course you can do it, and I will teach you later how to do it. But if you're a computer user at all, this is the way to go, is to get a mouse. Okay.
How do you connect the mouse to the thing?
What?
How do you connect the mouse to the iPad?
Oh, I'll show you. We did that earlier. I'll show you quickly, and then we're going to have to go. So we're going to go to settings, and we're going to go to Bluetooth, and we're going to make sure that your mouse is turned on. And you see right here, my mouse is turned on, and it's finding it because it's Wi-Fi.
The
Okay?
mouse is Wi-Fi, yeah.
If your mouse is a wireless mouse. If your mouse is not a wireless mouse, you need to connect it to directly from the mouse. You can't connect a mouse to the iPad.
Oh, so you can connect the wireless mouse to the iPad.
Yes, wireless can work. Wireless will work, but not wired.
Right.
Okay. And if you have a problem, again, if your mouse is connected to any other device.
Wendy, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Suppose you have a hub that you can plug into the side of your iPad. I've used that.
Try it. Give that a try.
I already did. I have.
Did it work?
Yes. I used a USB, a jump drive in it and everything. Just get a hub.
You're the best. Thank you, Sandy, for sharing that. I don't have a hub on my iPad. I have hubs on my computers, but I don't have a hub on my, is your iPad USB or USB-C? Look at you roll, rock and roll. All right. Thank you for sharing. So yeah, so Sandy just told us that with a wired device, you can use a hub on your iPad that will connect. So a hub, guys, is basically, let me see, I think I have an extra one right here. It's something that looks like this. It's a hub for multiple ports to put in, but mine is a USB-C. But Sandy, yours must be a USB regular.
It's a lightning one because it goes right into the iPad.
You're the best. Okay. So she just taught us something. Thank you so much. Guys, if you want to get a copy of this, it's being recorded. If you know of anyone who would like to take a Get Set Up class, please, please, please share us. We love to share. If you'd like to be an ambassador, if you have something cool to learn, to teach us, let us know. And I'm going to go ahead and put in the chat room Apple's phone number so that you can contact them in case you have to get your Apple password either reset or find it. Okay, 1-800-275-2273. Now, I'm going to tell you all something really important. Those of you that are still with me, this is crucial information. Do not let Apple give you another Apple ID. That is literally like having 2 social security numbers. Your Apple ID is with you for life. If you die, it's still with you. It can never be replaced. It doesn't have to be an active email. It can be one that, was 100 years ago with AOL or whatever. They don't use it as an email address. They use it as a verification. And you answered some questions when you set up your Apple ID. You might not remember them, but just try to remember them. They will help you remember them. If you have 2 Apple devices, they can send you a code, and you can say, send me a code to my phone, and they'll verify you that way. It's all verification, it's all authentication, and it's all security. But please, please, please do not let them give you another Apple ID. Okay?
What is that phone number again, Wendy? 1-800.
Yeah, no problem. It's 1-800
Uh-huh.
275
Uh-huh.
2273.
Thank you.
Let me just answer this real quick. I did not buy my mouse for my iPad at an Apple store. I just bought it online from Amazon, and it can be any app. It can be any mouse.
Oh, okay. That's good to know.
So
So I have a question. So for a beginner, I should have taken another one, a basic class. Does it say beginner on it then? Or what?
you walked into the right dorm room. You took the right class. The teacher was teaching about that.
Okay, because I know I'm gonna see you again.
You can take my intermediate class, and then you'll be like,
No, I'll start with your basics again another day.
I taught you 95% of what I teach in my basic class, but I cannot believe that I just assumed. I'm so sorry. Somebody should have said, Wendy, stop. You all were so smart and so good and so kind that you didn't stop me and say, Wendy.
That's because I was enjoying it, Wendy. You did a good job.
You guys are the best. I love being with you. I love sharing a little bit of knowledge or a lot of knowledge with you. And I hope you'll come back and have fun with me, because I teach different things every time. I want you to have fun with this.
Oh,
Okay.
well, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
So if we ask for a recording, we ask for the intermediate class for today?
Just ask for a recording from today. Just
Okay.
send a message to help@getsetup.io and ask for a recording from today's class.
Okay.
Oh,
Thank
thank you.
And I will see you guys again, hopefully in another beginner class or even my intermediate class.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Teach you underwater basket weaving in those classes.
And you're going to talk to me about that other person who lives near me, or that you want me to talk with?
I am going, I have your name down. Josie, I'm going to send a note to my Get Set Up people that asked me, and they'll get in touch with you.
Okay, good. And then one last piece of information. Is there an easy way to learn how to swipe? I'm having the most trouble swiping to get it to turn on.
Tend like to get your computer, your iPad to turn on.
Yeah, it's always dark, and then I have to swipe many, many times.
Okay, yeah, at the top right of your iPad is a little tiny button. Tap
Oh,
that.
yes. Uh-huh. I just touched it. Yes. And it told me to swipe up. So,
was that helpful doing that?
well, I still have, okay. My daughter told me, keep your fingers on the screen when you're swiping. Don't let them fly off. And she said, then she thought I would have easier time. But I guess I have to practice that. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys very much. I really appreciate it. And I will see you again.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Great class, Wendy.
Thanks, Sandy. Thanks for sharing with that. You know, Sandy, I'm going to get a hub. I didn't know they made hubs. I didn't know they made USB lightning.
Yeah, lightning hubs. Yes, they do.
I've only worked for Apple. I've only done all this.
Yes. That's okay.
Oh God.
Have a good afternoon.
Man, everything I have is not as USB-C. So.
Oh, really? See, yeah, this one has the lightning on the end of it.
I do, and I'm gonna go get
Yes.
one. I'm gonna order one right now.
I got one from Amazon.
You know why else I need one is because right now I Bluetooth share this particular software, piece of software called Let's View. I Wi-Fi it, and a lot of times if I could direct connect it to my iPad, it'd be so much better.
Oh, yeah, it would be.
I wouldn't have to do the wireless.
It would be. That's good. Have a good afternoon. Thanks for everything.
You can be my assistant teacher anytime.